we're now going to move on to our next keynote speech. The title of the speech is Building Better Public Service Information with Reuse and Structured Descriptions. And that presentation is from Kjersti Steien, who is a product owner and information architect at the Norwegian Digitalization Agency in Norway.
So Kjersti.
Right over here.
And while she's coming up, Kjersti, I looked at some of your slides and I saw how it's kind of like a work in progress, isn't it? I mean, you're troubleshooting and you're still working on it, right? Yeah.
So take it away.
Yep, all yours.
Like this. Okay, firstly, I just have to say that I am so excited to be here. I have been watching a lot of the talks and I am so inspired, and I'm going to take a lot of the things you have talked about back to Norway with me. So I'm so happy that you invited me here. Thank you so much. As mentioned, my name is Kjersti Steien. I work as a senior advisor at the Norwegian Digitalization Agency, and I work there as a product owner for the National Data Portal. And as mentioned, I'm also going to talk about a work in progress. And I was hoping that we would be a little further along the way before I enter this conference, but we aren't. And I think that the value of that will be that the insights that you are able to share with me and the experience that you have may actually make an impact on the work that we are doing. So I'm going to talk about how we are trying to improve the service descriptions of public service information and the quality and consistency of that, both for people and for artificial intelligent agents. And we are trying to do that by, we are trying to do that by reusing semantic service descriptions across different user interfaces. So first I will tell you a little bit about the Norwegian Digitalization Agency that I will call DIGDIR from now on, and the modernization of Altinn. Then I will talk a little bit about the situation regarding the service descriptions today, and what we are doing or trying to do to solve the issues that we are facing. So, in DIGDIR, we are working to speed up and coordinate digitalization across the Norwegian society. And we do this by providing premises for digitalization, promoting universal design and accessibility, and implementing policy. And we also supply common digital solutions for the Norwegian public sector. And the goal is to make the public sector more efficient, to create value for businesses, make life easier for people, and help build trust in government. And maybe we are even trying to save the world a little. So, as I mentioned, DIGDIR is providing several common digital solutions. And at the bottom right center corner here, you'll find all of the common digital solutions that DIGDIR are providing. And it's not important for you to know all of them, but for the ones of you sitting and wondering what's the deal about the colors, the yellow hexagons are Altinn products, and the blue hexagons are all of the other common digital services that we are providing. And together with the national registries and tools from public agencies, these solutions form the ecosystem for digital public services in Norway. And many of the products that we are providing are open source and they are publicly available. And some are even registered as digital public goods with the UN. And we are still working on building strong communities around these solutions. And several digital services in Norway are full digital today. And I would like to enhance the example of buying a house. You can now buy a house, including getting a mortgage, completely online in Norway. And this is because of collaboration between private and public sector in Norway that makes data flow smoothly between public organizations, banks, and real estate agencies. And several of the digital services in Norway are made in Altinn. the yellow hexagons. And Altinn has been around since 2003, and right now we are focusing on a modernization project for the modernization of Altinn. And it is supposed to be completed by summer 2026. And instead of building a new big platform, we are now building several smaller independent services, because that will be easier to maintain, and it will also allow the users to pick the parts of the Altinn portfolio. What was happening? Sorry, I just lost the screen down here, but it looks okay up there, so that's fine. Let's see. Yeah, so each of the Altinn products are open source. They are maintained by cross-functional teams, and they are made with the users in mind. And one highlight is Altinn Studio, which is a unique no-code, low-code service for building digital services. So the services made in Altinn Studio are stored on GitHub, they run in their own containers, and they have their own APIs. And this gives flexibility for the users, and it doesn't create vendor lock-in. So as part of the modernization of Altinn, we have seen an opportunity to improve how services in Altinn are described. And we are now exploring how we can use the Norwegian data portal datanorge.no as a hub for service descriptions. So the initiative that I'm going to talk about today is connected to 3 of our solutions. It's Altinn Studio, Datanorge, and the Altinn Information Portal. And here you can see Altinn Information Portal. So this is a website that explains what public services are available, how you can access them, and what you can expect. So as we upgrade Altinn and rebuild the services in Altinn Studio, we also want to improve how we describe the services, both for developers and also for end users. And that's where the idea of using CPSV, which is the core public service vocabulary, came in. And the 2 main challenges that we are focusing on in this work is the process of describing services and what kind of user experience this creates. So let's look at the current process for describing services. At this moment, it is a very manual process. So you have the service owner here. That is what we call the organizations that build services in Altinn. So even though it's a person, we are talking about an organization. So the service owner has made, let's say that they built a service in Altinn. Then they need a description of the service. So they send a request to Digdir saying, I need a description of my service. And then an employee at Digdir sends them a Word template with some headings and some boxes to add their text and for them to fill out. And then the service owner will fill out the Word template and send it back. And they are pretty free in how they decide to describe their service. And there might be a couple of rounds of refinement of the text before the employee of Digdir manually enters the content into the website. And of course, there are variations of this process where some of the service owners have access to the website themselves and may enter the content themselves, but either way, it's not a very smooth or efficient process. So in some cases, a service even has to be described like 6 or 7 different times in 6 or 7 different portals. So you could say that you have a developer that is creating a service in Altinn Studio. Then you might have to describe the same service in the Altinn Resource Registry, the Altinn Information Portal, and so on and so on. And that means more work for the service owner, but it also means that there is a high risk that the information about the services is outdated. And if a law changes, the service will change, or it might change, but the descriptions of the service don't necessarily get updated. And when service information is updated in one place, but not in other places, then the users might get conflicting answers to their queries, depending on where they look. And this may lead to people actually missing out on services they are entitled to, but it could also lead to businesses getting fined for missing deadlines. And in either way, it will lead to frustration and it will lead to confusion for everyone that meets this case. So, and also because the service owners are in full control in how they want to describe their service, the structure inside one portal may even vary a lot. So that makes it harder for users to find the information that they need because they are not sure how the descriptions will be structured. And we have also tested an AI agent based on Raffle to see how it would perform on the Altern information portal. And it got many of the answers right, but it got some wrong. And we even got conflicting answers asking about the same thing in a different way. So we asked the AI agent, how much does it cost to register a sole proprietorship in Norway? And it gave the correct answer. It's 2,683 kroner if you do it digitally, and a little more if you do it manually. Then we asked it, is it free to register a sole proprietorship in Norway? And the answer was, yes, that's free. And that's the wrong answer. And the reason for why the AI gave the wrong answer is because it got confused of a sentence about registering volunteer organizations, which stated that that was free in the organization registry. And this shows that unstructured data and unstructured text could easily mislead AI. But there are different ways to solve that, and the AI lab has, in a different project that could be translated to something like the knowledge assistant, they have seen better results from the AI agent when they give them access to structured metadata about the documents or document context. But this is not the way that we are trying to move in this project. So to summarize the situation today, the description of services are mainly manual processes. There are many places to update the descriptions. The service and information about them are updated separately. And there is a varying quality of the service descriptions, and there may be inconsistency both between platforms but also inside the same platform. And user experience is unpredictable between services. So, I don't know if you have a service catalog in every country. Do you know if you have one? Could you just show your hand if you have a service catalog? Yeah, it's not that many, but a few of you. In Norway, we have a service catalog, and it's part of the national data portal. And we have 5 different catalogs in the national data portal, and they are all interconnected. And this is because that the extensions of the specifications that we have made in Norway, they allow us to connect resources between the different catalogs. So we could connect a service that we describe in CPSV APNO, which is the Norwegian extension of the EU standard for application for profile CPSV AP. And we could actually connect it to data sets for output, and we could also connect it to concepts you need to understand the service. And I guess that most of you are familiar with CPSV AP, but if not, it is a standardized and structured way to describe services. And I've added the picture of the Norwegian version here. In Norway, we have many services that are delivered by the private sector, along with the public sector, so we have expanded the model to include them. And right now we are also working on trying to expand the model to describe generic services and the local versions of these generic services, because all of the 357 municipalities of Norway, they offer many of the same services. And These services follow the same laws, but they may have some local differences between them. And we wouldn't want to describe the same service 357 times. So by describing the generic version of the service once and link all of the local instances to it, then we can save both time and improve consistency. So this will also make it easier for us to create information pages that are easy for the users to understand and to navigate, because then they can find the generic service and they can also find which specifications or which differences are in their municipality. So CPSV will help us to make service information user-friendly, easier to share, and easier to reuse across platforms, or at least that's the hypothesis right now. So this is a prototype of the new information page about, or from the new information portal about services in Altinn. And on the right, you can see how each part of the website maps to CPSV APNO. And we have done this to find out if CPSV would be possible to use in this case. And we have only found two entities that are missing from CPSV APNO at the moment. So we are looking at how we can add this to CPSV APNO. We're not quite sure how we will do it yet, but we have been talking about maybe making a subcategory for services called digital services or something, because it's about the access to the service and the security level of the service. But there may be other ways to do this, and if you have ideas on how, please let me know, and I will take that back with me. So the goal with the work we are doing right now is to describe services where the services are created, and in this case that will be Altinn Studio. This way we will update the descriptions when the service is updated, and we will automate part of the we'll be able to automate parts of the process, so that information that is made when you build the service you won't have to describe again. We can automatically gather that information, and it will also reduce the number of places that the same information needs to be updated. So from Altinn Studio, the descriptions will then go into the service catalog in datanorge.no, which will then publish the service descriptions as CPSV APNO through an API. And the API is ready for use, so users wanting to try it could get the data in different serializations of RDF. So you could get it in JSON-LD, but you could also get it editorial in XML or whatever you like. And then the portal will generate an information page based on the CPSV information, or that's the idea anyway. And then the user will find the information they need about the service, and we can ensure that the information is up to date and that it's correct. And this setup will improve consistency, it will reduce errors, and it will also make services easier to find and to understand. So this approach is also part of a bigger picture, because if we use the service catalog as a hub, then we will be able to add services from outside of Altinn as well, so we can add more sources for service descriptions. And we will also be able to reuse the information in different portals as well. So we can use it in municipality sites, we can use it in sector portals, etc. And this will reduce duplication and will also reduce effort. And of course, there are some challenges to this approach. There is the balance between the complexity that we are giving the portal teams, like should we give them clean CPSV or should we make it easier for them? So we are starting with clean CPSV because we think that we are afraid to remove value from them if we make it too simple, but we are not sure whether or not it will be easy for them to use CPSV like out of the box. And another issue is how do we get organizations to actually publish their service information into the catalog. But we believe that if we show them the value and we make it easier than it is today, then they will adopt it. And structured, consistent service data also helps AI give better answers. So CPSV, along with new spatial web standards, may give AI agents the context that they need to answer questions or act on the behalf of the users in a safely and correctly manner. This is something that the AI team in Digdir are working on right now, so it's a completely new idea from them, but they are exploring it as we speak. So we are shifting from manual processes with lots of duplication to automatic processes with a single source of truth. And I think that this will help us keep information up to date, make pages that are consistent across platforms, and improve the experience both for people and for AI agents. And this isn't completely new ideas and isn't like groundbreaking, but I think that it's a practical use of CPSV to make information about services better. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
Hey, Kjersti, thank you very much. First of all, I mean, because you were entertaining any kind of input or advice, does anyone have any advice or something to tell Kjersti before we get questions? Okay, well, there's always a coffee break later on, but yes, any questions then? Yes, please, identify yourself first. Waiting for the red. Wait, there, you got it. Okay.
Thank you. It's Claudio Baldassar from DigiDigit. Have you pushed it so to explore proactive services where, based on live events, the citizen is suggested a plan of digital services that they have to consume?
To push it as well? Yeah. We haven't gone that far yet, but it's definitely a concept that we have talked about. And we are talking a lot about what we call service chains, where we have the events and the services and how we are supposed to describe that and to build that connection. Yeah, so we are thinking about it, but we haven't done it yet. But I hope that we will be one step closer after we have done this work. Yeah.
And Slido questions welcome. There's the QR code. I think we have a couple, right?
Yeah, put one Slido question too, and we can go back out to the audience. So first question is, considering the challenges and costs associated with having organizations publish their service information to the catalog, have you developed specific strategies to engage these organizations and facilitate their publication process?
That's a good question. I think that if we are able to actually make value for the organizations, like make the job easier for them and show them the value of it, then I think it will be much easier to make them adopt the way of describing services that we want them to do. And right now they are actually struggling with manual and many different ways to describe their services, and they have to do it in several different platforms. So I hope that if we can do this, if they can input these descriptions one place, then it will be easy to make them actually do this, because it will make their job easier as well, and we will get better quality in the other end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other question out there at the moment? Okay, here's one. What can be done on an EU level to make your job easier?
Yeah, there are several things, I think, that can be done from the EU to make it easier for us. One of the things, and this may be my lack of information, but we have been trying to find out if the EU will recommend CPSV as one of the specifications to use with single digital gateway. We haven't been able to find like explicit recommendations, but if you are, then please make it explicit, because we haven't really put SDG into the Norwegian legislation yet, because we're not an EU country. but we will do that soon, and it would make the job a lot easier for us. And also the tools that you are making is a big value to us as well. Like this SPAR normal that I just heard about, I am definitely taking that back home and trying it out. And we would also like to see, could you make a tool to help us visualize RDF graphs or something like that? That would be really interesting. So definitely many things. And as has been mentioned here in the conference earlier, please reuse the specifications we already have and the entities in these, because that would make the job so much easier when we are trying to implement them.
Let me segue to that, to this question on that. Can any of the work from your agency be valuable or reused on an EU level for partner countries? Can you suggest something?
Yes, I think that we are making a lot of things that are open source. I mentioned the solutions that we already have, like Altinn, like Data Norge, and we also just got we have a design system that we make in Norway as well that could make it easier to build interfaces that are accessible. And they actually just became part of the Digital Public Good Alliance registry. So. That is definitely something you could try. And if you think that we have done something smart, then please just steal our ideas and reuse their specifications if you want to, or entities there. We also have a vocabulary that is called LOS, which is a way to categorize services in Norway. And it is also available in English, but it's been automatically translated, so it may not be the best quality, but it could be a starting point if you need it. Yeah.
We have a few questions from the audience. I think we had one here.
Wouter Lubber, Semtech. I have a question about the workflows that you showed us. I think a recurring topic today and yesterday was the quality of automated things. In the new description flow, there were 2 automated steps, but no longer sort of a feedback loop to check if the descriptions were of sufficient quality. Do you expect it to be of sufficient quality given the new workflow, or is that still something that needs to be figured out if that's necessary?
I think the new workflow will definitely improve the quality, and I think there will still have to be work done regarding improving the quality even more. But I think that when we are making it easier to describe the services, where the services are created, then we are also able to ensure that you describe services of a certain quality. And we also have validation steps in the harvesting process as well, but that will be more like the technical approach of it. But we are also working on how to improve the metadata quality in the national data portal, and service descriptions will definitely be part of that as well.
Another question over here.
Right, thank you. Philip from Norwegian Customs. Lovely presentation, Kjersti. I know we cooperate quite a lot with DigDid, and I love CPSV. I'm a fanboy, I would say. And we've played around with it and found maybe an unexpected benefit to ourselves as an organization. That is categorizing our records. Because if you have a complete set of service descriptions structured the CPSV way, that's an excellent starting point for sort of records management and archiving, categorization of your info. And I think that's a benefit that might flow back to the EU. You could use it for that.
You use that to bust people at the border for alcohol?
All the time.
Like we talked about yesterday? All right, not yet. Okay. All right, how about this one? We had somebody else out here, right? No? There was an earlier session where a Maria had a question and I missed her, and my apologies. Maria, do you have a question now? Okay, well. Then how did you come up with this solution, this idea? Was this a light bulb moment? Was this a coffee break type that we talked about? Oh, that was at the... my track 2, we talked about how somebody was inspired during a coffee break. But anyway.
Sort of. It's maybe that's why we are working on it right now. But it has been an idea for like the last 4 years, I think, and we have been talking about it. But now, as part of the modernization of Altinn, we saw a possibility to actually try it. So
Right.
I think, but we decided on trying it during a coffee break. So it's
There you go.
sort of a coffee break moment, but.
Yeah, okay, good, well, then that counts. And also, cocktail napkins are also very good, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I dig.
Cocktails can have the best ideas
Oh, yeah.
generated. So next question from Slido. If CPSV description have been automatically reused in public services, could you provide a specific example illustrating any measurable benefits or outcomes from its implementation?
I think that there are many, because if you can automate the process, then you are sure that the data is correct, and also automating, because when you are building the service, you're also creating a lot of information about the service, and if that information is automatically added to the description, then you know that it's correct, and also the automatically feeding the service descriptions into the hub and into the portals. I think it will make one source of truth, and that will also be very interesting for when we are utilizing AI agents, that all the portals from the public sector of Norway has the same information about services, instead of there being different or variations of the descriptions out there.
When it comes to accessing public services, interesting next question from Slido. A classical dilemma in public service delivery is that high-resource citizens are the best at navigating what's available. Do you do anything to make sure that CPSV descriptions make the public sector easier to access for everyone, lower-income individuals also, through personalized versions?
There you go. The analog types, how do you deal with them?
Right now, we do not do anything in CPSV to do this, but we are working on a project for non-digital or low-digital citizens and how we can include them into the digitalization of Norway as well. But I don't think that, I'm not sure if CPSV will be the solution for that, but it will definitely be possible to describe non-digital services using CPSV as well. So that way we will at least give information about also the non-digital services for the citizens that are not able to use them.
Okay. A true confessions moment, what issues are you facing in the phase you are in now?
Yeah,
Can we feel your pain?
yeah. One of the issues is, of course, that we are three teams with different backlogs that are trying to find out how we can collaborate and make this happen. And there is, of course, this issues about how do we actually get the organizations to describe their services, and who should be in charge of describing these generic services that I was talking about that doesn't really have an owner, but they are still very important to describe. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we'll do one more Slido question before we wrap up. Do you have Norwegian CPSV-AP developed for entrepreneurs and business owners, as well as portal site services for businesses? If yes, which industry is using the portal service the most in Norway?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't think that there are private businesses using it right now. I don't think they are using the portal at all, but I am not quite sure because I know that there might be. So please go into the Altinn info portal if you want to find out more about that, but or send us an email or something after the conference. I will add a slide to my presentation with contact information and useful links after the presentation, and the publication office has agreed to make that available on the endorsed site as well.
And all those slides, as usual, are available on the conference website that you can go back to. So, Kjersti, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.